What's up, guys? It's coaches Jordan and Mack with a new coffee with Coach for you guys. Now, we don't have any coffees on us because we don't want to get any coffee on us because we're going to be moving a little bit. More specifically, Mack is going to be moving just a little bit here at the end. But our topic today is, what is mobility? And so the short answer to that is mobility is flexibility plus motor control, and how those two things work together. So not only can you make a shape or can you stretch to a point that is considered full range of motion, but can you get there on your own? And can you use that shape with different movements in the gym? So when we talk about flexibility specifically, we're talking about full range of motion about a joint. So can your ankle go through the full range of motion it needs to be able to go through for you to be able to sit into a deep squat? Can your shoulder go through the full range of motion it needs to be able to go through to get into a handstand or to support a bar overhead with an overhead squat? All kinds of different examples I could give, but that's the general concept. Motor control is your brain's ability to communicate with your body to get you into those positions. So even if you are flexible enough to make a shape, so there are plenty of people that I've seen that can do a split, but can't necessarily get into a good squat, all right? So they may be flexible enough to do a thing, but can't get their brain to tell their body how to do it the right way. So when we talk about mobility with a movement, we need to be able to see that A, you're flexible enough to make the shape, and B, that your brain can communicate well enough with your body to do that. So flexibility, to make sure that you actually have access to that full range of motion, there are three big components there. Are you warming up effectively? So are you getting your heart rate up, and are we getting those joints moving enough through a full range of motion that you actually have access to all the range of motion that you currently have without having to do any extra stretching work or any extra visits to your massage therapist or your chiro. Once that warm-up is done, you should be able to move like you normally do when you're warm. If you're not warming up effectively and you're complaining about not getting through full range of motion or having a hard time getting through a full range of motion, try warming up more and see what happens then. At that point, if you're still missing some range of motion, you can stretch. Stretching is a great tool to use when you're lacking full range of motion. Just remember that that's what it's for, is if you don't have full range of motion, you can spend some time stretching. A good rule of thumb for stretching is hold the stretch for about 30 seconds to 2 minutes and try to stay in a position that lets you still breathe so you're not holding your breath and getting really tense. That'd be another video we could do on some different kinds of stretches, but for the sake of this, we're going to stop there. Soft tissue work, that might be as simple as hopping on a foam roller. Sometimes kind of doing that can desensitize whatever tissue you're rolling on, and it can make it easier to make some shapes that were causing you some discomfort prior. You can go see your local massage therapist if you got a good one. They can be great at helping you break through some barriers that you might have soft tissue wise. Of course, seeing a good physical therapist or a good chiropractor can be another way of dealing with some soft tissue issues you might be dealing with. And obviously they can work with you on a lot more than just dealing with soft tissue work. So motor control really comes down to practice, and not just practice, but good practice. So we're going to give an example of how we might coach some motor control issues. So the back squat is a big exercise we use in here to generate lots of leg strength. And a common error in a back squat is for people to lean forward. So Mack obviously doesn't have a bar on his back, but we're going to use an air squat to demonstrate this. So go ahead and lean forward. A lot of people will call this like a good morning squat. So that's not an optimal position for Mack to squat in to generate leg strength the way that we need to generate it in CrossFit, to have a nice upright squat and to go through a full range of motion where our hip crease is getting below our knee. So to fix that, Mack needs to practice a more upright squat. And that's going to start with making sure when he's warming up for those back squats that he's doing some air squats and some lightweight back squats with perfect technique. So he's going to have to think about not just sending his hips back, but also sending his knees forward and keeping some pressure more in the middle of his foot instead of just in the heel. The best place for him to practice that is without weight, because when it's heavy, he's not going to think about the position that he's going to be in. So as he continues to practice that, go ahead and do a few more reps for us, he'll get gradually better at staying upright in his squat. Now, when you're trying to change a motor pattern, you don't want to try to move fast you don't want to try to add a ton of weight first. The way to fix it first is to go slower. Pausing is great. So if the bottom position is what you have a hard time with, squatting to the bottom of a squat and holding the bottom position and really feeling how that balance feels will help get some better communication between your brain and your body and develop better motor control for that specific shape. And it'll help you be able to express that better when you need it. So again, what is mobility? Flexibility and motor control. How do we improve flexibility? We warm up well, we stretch, we hit up a practitioner that deals specifically with soft tissue, or maybe it might help us with a little bit of motor control drill too. And then we use motor control. So we improve motor control by practicing, right? So if you are having a hard time with a movement and you're not spending much time practicing it, I think there's a simple solution for you. That's practice more. Yeah. All right, guys. See you next time.